Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Blue Off today from another Pokemon TCG Online video, and today I have for you guys a Beedrill deck from Primal Clash. And yeah, it's the same old Pokemon, 120 HP, grass type, pretty ho-hum boring. No resistance. You'd figure that it should have resistance against fighting since it's a flying type. But, well, I mean, it's a bug type, but, you know, it flies, right? You figured it should have fighting resistance, but who cares? All right. It's not a very great card in particular. It does have free retreat, which is nice, but it is weak against fire, so we'll have to take a note of that. It's a stage 2. It would take a while to finally get to the Beedrill, but with rare candy and whatnot, it could be somewhat adequate to get the Beedrill out. But Allergic Shock is the attack we want to focus on. You guys might have seen this a little hyped up before, but during your next turn, if the defending Pokemon is damaged by an attack, any attack, it is knocked out. So, yeah, we're going to just try to focus on Beedrill here. We'll be running a 4-2-4 line here with Beedrill, Kakuna, and 4 Weedles. The Weedle from the Primal Clash set is actually pretty good. Using Multiply, being able to get another Weedle out is probably the best Weedle that I can think of as of today. So we got Victini here. We probably could play more, but I'm just going to play one with Victory Star. Being able to flip again can make it for a little bit more consistent with the Twin Needle. We got Mr. Mime here for Bench Barrier, just to protect the bench. And then finally we got Dragalge here as the main partner for Beedrill. Being able to use Hypnotoxic Laser and then using the ability Poison Barrier, preventing our opponent from being able to retreat. And that way it won't reset the effect for Allergic Shock, right? So if our opponent hits the bench using a switch or something rather, then Allergic Shock would be no use, and we wouldn't be able to really knock our opponent out. But if you can imagine using Allergic Shock and then playing Hypnotoxic Laser with a Poison Barrier on a Black Kyurem with Crystal Wall, 300 HP, yeah, and then the next turn you do Twin Needle and flip one heads and you hit it for 50, but really it knocks it out. Wow, that is insane. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, on to the item cards and whatnot. We got Hypnotoxic Laser. I already mentioned this. We got 4 of these. We got Professor's Letter, 1 of these. 4 rare candies because we are running Stage 2 deck. We got 1 Repeat Ball. Yeah, it'd be pretty good just to be consistent, grabbing some more Weedles out and whatnot. We got 1 Start on Megaphone, 1 Switch. Never know when you get paralyzed. Even though we got free retreat from Beedrill, you can never go without a Switch. It's a pretty good card. We got 2 Ultra Balls here just to get consistency with drawing out the Pokemon we need. Finally, to round out our item cards, we got 2 VS Seekers just to get the support cards back into our hand. Then finally, we got, yeah, for our support line, we got Colress, 1 of these, 2 Lysanders, 1 Lysander Storm card, only 3 Ends, and 2 Professor Birch's Observations, 4 Junipers, 1 Skyla, hopefully just using Skyla to draw for the rare candy, or even other things too. We got Teammates here, 2 of these because our Pokemon are pretty weak and most likely will get knocked out. 2 Training Centers here because the HP, like I said, it's only 120 HP. With Training Center, it gives it 150 HP. And it's a little bit more respectable, and that way also with the Allergic Shock, we don't really care if our opponent has a higher HP, right? So for example, if we're playing against like a Donphan, we play Hypnotoxic Laser, it puts it to sleep, the next turn it flips tails, you can't wake up, and our next turn we do Twin Needle and we'll knock it out, and we don't care if the Donphan has 160 HP because it's Training Center, right? Does that make sense? So there you go. Yeah, we could use Verbank City Gym, but we don't really mind accumulating the damage counters, right? Because with Allergic Shock, what we really play Hypnotoxic Laser for is just for the preventing the retreat with the Poison Barrier. Finally, for the Life Dew, we're playing 1 of these as the expected choice because, yeah, once again, our Pokemon will get knocked out pretty easily. And then we got 9 Grass Energies. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and see this Allergic Shock deck on Pokemon TCG Online. Okay, looks like we're playing against Tacky Mule, and it's a Metal Psychic Dark deck. Apparently we have the advantage, but yeah. Alright, so we're going to go for heads, and yes, we get to go first. That is excellent. I love going first. And there we go. We start with a Weedle. We even get a rare candy. So, yeah, I think what I want to do now, ooh, this is a hard choice. Depending on what my opponent plays, I might have to just be forced to play the Ultra Ball and get something else. Well, we see an Yveltal, so what I'm going to do is yeah, I'm actually going to probably just discard the Starling Megaphone and the Teammates, and there's really no I really don't think my opponent will be able to knock us out, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get a Scralp out here, and yeah, I think let's go for the Hypnotoxic Laser. Why not? Putting the Yveltal to sleep, and then we'll end the turn there. So if my opponent was able to wake up, my opponent would need something like an Ether and like a DCE or just regular energy, and that would actually knock out the Weedle. But you know, getting playing an Ether and then getting the Darkness energy, that's pretty lucky, I gotta say. But I don't see that happening. So starting, battling a Evil Tall EX, I'm pretty happy with that. We do get the rare candy and the Beedrill in the next turn, so that's very good. And we even have a Juniper, so I hope my opponent doesn't end us. If my opponent does, then that's pretty devastating. I only have 3 cards, and so we see the Jirachi here. My opponent definitely can play the N. And yeah, we would lose out on our turn 2 Beedrill with the rare candy, and even with the Juniper to boot. So my opponent needs to choose. Oh, and my opponent chooses the Skyla for the supporter of choice from the Jirachi. We see my opponent probably going for maybe a switch or something rather. My opponent plays the Skyla, and I get to see my opponent play the trainer card. It doesn't look like my opponent was able. Oh, never mind. So my opponent concedes. And okay, we will take the win. That's okay with me. Let's go ahead. Oh, that's a bummer. I kind of wish we were able to get that turn 2 Beedrill out, but never mind. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll see if we can run into another opponent here. Any opponent will do. Any opponent will do. Excuse me. Alright, we're playing against FMFAL. It's a Darkness and Psychic deck. We'll go with heads again, and no, it's tails. Oh, we get to go second. That is a bummer. We're playing against a Team Magma deck, so this is, I think, what did I say it was? It was fighting and psychic, right? I can't remember what I just said. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just rewind the video and be like, oh, hey, a blue golf ball. It was this kind of deck. So, otherwise, I'll probably watch it later and be like, oh, that's what it was, and then when I'm watching it, I'm hearing myself say that I'm watching it, and then I'll be like, ha, that was funny. Never mind. Okay, so here we go. My opponent is getting to has the opportunity to choose between heads or tails. Well, actually, no. Wait, didn't I flip? And I flipped tails, right? So my opponent just needs to choose the. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe my opponent. It's my opponent's turn, and it says my opponent is inactive and will lose due to inactivity. Yeah, I think so. I lost the coin toss. My opponent gets to choose to go first or second. And it looks like my opponent is opting not to choose either. And the game could have started. See, that's it, Pokemon, right? If I would have won the coin toss, I would have just started, and then the game would have went on its merry way. So, all right, never mind. So we get free 4 coins. I don't mind that at all. I need to apologize if you guys are watching this video. And you guys, I feel bad because I'm just wasting your time. You're watching the video and nothing's happening. So, okay, we're going against G Gorito, and apparently we got the advantage. I actually wasn't paying attention if he had what kind of deck he was playing, but wow, we flipped for heads, and we got tails again, back-to-back tails. See, I hate these kind of things because if I play another one and I choose heads again, it's going to be tails again, right? Or if I choose tails, it's going to be heads, So it's like, I don't know, Pokemon. I don't know what you want. I don't know. Okay, so G Gorito here, I think he needs to choose to go heads or go first or second. Since we lost the coin toss, my opponent would need to choose if he would like to go first. Okay, my opponent chooses to go first, and it's a shame because wow, we start with, oh my goodness, both our VS Seekers and Junipers. That is just tragic. And now I have to cross my fingers and hope that I have Lysander Strum cards. We see a Phoebus here. So that's most peculiar. We even see a Scoop Up Cyclone. So my opponent right now can just use the Scoop Up Cyclone and lose the game, I guess. And there we go. My opponent scooped up the Phoebus and lost the game. So we got 10 more coins. Are you guys seeing this? What's going on Pokemon TCG Online? I mean, I don't know. Okay, so all right. Looks like we're going against Fandu Japan. I feel like we might have battled him before. Fine. Okay, we get to go first. That's great. Going first is what I like to do. And wow, we don't draw into anything. Finally, we draw into our full line of Beedrill, Kakuna, and whatnot. But we're going to go. We'll probably just start with the Mr. Mime. Wow, my opponent gets to draw into a lot of different cards here. And we don't even get a supporter into our hand. That is terrible. So, okay, we'll go ahead. We'll bench the Weedle. And my opponent gets to draw, what is that, 3 or 4 extra cards. We get an N, which is pretty nice. Let's see here. yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to discard this. And let's go and discard the Kakuna. We have one more in there. All I want to do is get another Weedle. Thin our deck just a little bit. Yeah, maybe let's go with the Skrelp. Alright, so let's get that out there. And then I'm going to play the VS Seeker for the end and end our opponent. And we even get this here. We even get the rare candy. Wow, this is great. We're going to end our turn here. And the next turn, we should be able to rare candy into the Beedrill. And if we get knocked out, so my opponent can play a DCE and knock out our Mr. Mime, we can just play Teammates and guarantee an energy drop, and then also get Dragalge out. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Depending on what we can top deck here, and depending if my opponent does knock us out or not. If we can top deck a Grass Energy, we'll definitely go for the Teammates. If we can top deck either Grass Energy, Dragalge, or Hypnotoxic Laser, we got 40 cards left in our deck, and we have multiple copies of those. So the chances of drawing into one of them is pretty high, I guess. I mean, Grass Energy, so we got at least 8 left, 8 Grass Energies, 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers, and 2 Dragalges, and so that's what 14 cards out of 40. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind my chances drawing into any one of those 3. There we go. My opponent plays the computer search. We see a bunch of stuff. We see a battle compressor. My opponent definitely wants to charge up the Bronzong. So there we go. My opponent knocks out my poor little Mr. Mime and takes the first prize. So definitely we're going to promote the Weedle here. And oh wow, we draw into a Starling Megaphone. That is not what I want to do. But okay, so we get the Beedrill here. Oh boy. My opponent has the Keldeo, so that's actually such a shame because my opponent can just rush in and retreat with the Float Stone. So we definitely need to hang on to the Starling Megaphone so we can get rid of that Float Stone at some point. So I'm in a pickle here. We can definitely go for the Teammates. I think that's the best choice. Let's go ahead. We'll get the Teammates. I'm gonna go for the let's go for the Dragalge and I guess an Energy. I don't know. So right now my opponent, even if I do an Allergic Shock, right, which I will do anyways, my opponent can just rush in and retreat and reset the Allergic Shock, and then the Mewtwo can hit me for 80 anyways. And that would be pretty devastating, but we'll have to wait and see if my opponent plays the Float Stone. Otherwise, we can just see a simple rush in, and then maybe we can just go for a Twin Needle and hope for 2 heads, and that would actually knock out the Keldeo. So that's also an option there as well. Alright, let's see. My opponent here can rush in, play a DCE2, and retreat. That's always an option as well. We see a Cobalion EX. This is definitely a metal deck of some sort. So there's the Dialga getting the energy drop there. The Mewtwo, if nothing happens to the Mewtwo, we will knock the Mewtwo out. The problem here is that we don't have any backup Pokemon to really back up. Oh boy, here we go. We see a Victini, and the poor Victini gets knocked out. So right now, all we need is 1 coin flip. And alright, so let's go ahead. We'll get this here. We get the Training Center, and I guess we'll play this here as well. Let's go for the Twin Needle. All we need is 1. Oh, we get both, and that will knock out the Mewtwo. Being able to draw for 2 prizes here. Oh boy, we are tied in prizes. My opponent does not have an energy in play. The Keldeo here can be a threat, that's for sure. So if we can flip 2 heads, that would be fantastic. At some point, I definitely need to get the Victini back. We'll need to play the Lysander Strum card to get all of the cards from our discard pile. We only got 9 cards in the discard pile, for crying out loud. My opponent's got 13 over there. We see another Mewtwo. Oh, man. Alright, so we see us. We get End. We get the Repeat Ball that we can't exactly use. We see the Float Stone over there. So at some point, we got to have the Starling Megaphone and get rid of that Float Stone. Oh, no. Alright, we just got to Juniper our hand away. That's pretty tragic. And alright, so here's the Keldeo. Yeah, Russian and Retreat is in full effect now, guys. We just got to go for a Twin Needle, and we got nothing. It doesn't matter because the Keldeo can Russian and Retreat anyways. So what we need to do is we need to Lysander out the Keldeo. So the Keldeo actually rushes in and retreats into the Cobalion. That's a very interesting choice there. We'll just play it slow. We'll get the energy drop here. What I want to do is go for the where is that Lysander's trump card? Okay, so there it is. Let's go for that. And the next turn, this is gonna be a very slow match. We'll go with this here. We get Twin Needles, flipping 2 heads. Wow, if that was on the Keldeo, we would have knocked the poor Keldeo out. And yeah, that could have been pretty fun. But okay, so my opponent here needs to charge something up, and my opponent has the Keldeo's Rush and Retreat. Very fluid, very flexible deck right now, being able to charge up whatever he wants. And there we go. The Mewtwo is going to come into play, and we definitely need to get another Beedrill into play. There's a 100 hit right there, and wow, I'm a little bit concerned, but. So what we're just going to do the Hypnotoxic Laser anyway, because we're going to play the Lysander's trump card and get all this back into our deck. So let's go ahead. We're just going to go for the Twin Needle. Hopefully we get 2 heads, but no, we only got 1. It's alright. We can put a little dent on the Mewtwo. Not that we really care because we want to use Allergic Shock anyway, but... Alright, so my opponent can definitely rush in and retreat, knock out the Beedrill. And the next turn, we'll play the Juniper, being able to draw into probably another Beedrill. And from there, we can potentially knock out the Mewtwo if we can play a Hypnotoxic Laser and get 2 heads. But that's wishful thinking, and that is a knockout on our poor Beedrill. Oh, wow, my opponent's down to 3. I could definitely end my opponent, but I actually want to Juniper right here. And we even get this right here going for us, and that's great. And we get to discard the Float Stone. So let's go ahead. We will just Hypnotoxic Laser, and if we can get 2 heads here, we'll actually get the knockout. Oh, wow, we knocked out a Mewtwo. Oh, my goodness. That is hilarious. Oh, man, here comes the Keldeo, and no Float Stone for you, sir. Unless you got one more Float Stone in your hand, but that's another story. Oh, no, the Float Stone's right there. No, not the Float Stone. Okay. My opponent can bring out the Dialga EX. I definitely need another starting Megaphone, but we only play 1 in the deck, and that's a little problematic. So we can actually knock out the Keldeo if we can draw into the either a Victini, or actually what we need is the Lysander. Let's see here. We have 2 Lysanders in our deck. Oh no, oh boy, we see the Bronzong come out here. We can actually see the energy accelerate a little bit more, and the Dialga here can definitely get pumped up in a couple turns. So wow, we see the Jirachi. My opponent can play an end this down to 2 cards, but no, never mind. We see a Jirachi for the Professor Juniper, and the Juniper would be able to get my opponent a nice new hand. We see the Sacred Ash getting the Aegislash, Heatran, and a Mewtwo. There it is. There's the Professor Juniper. Oh, wow. 7 cards. That is very fabulous for my opponent. We do have a Colress here that we can play and draw into 6. But we'll have to wait and see. We see a Max Potion on the Cobalion. That's okay. I mean, we're just going for 1-hit knockouts anyways with the Allergic Shock. But the Keldeo is definitely the most annoying Pokemon right now. But if we can draw into top decking the Lysanders, any one of the 2 Lysanders, that would be fantastic. So even if my opponent knocks out the Beedrill, my opponent won't be taking a prize, but we definitely need another Beedrill to get going here. Got a Weedle and a Beedrill in the discard pile, meaning we got at least 2 more Weedles in our deck, and at least 2 more Beedrills as well. So wow, the Dialga EX here is fully powered. We get the Weedle over here. Let's go ahead. We'll power this one up. Yeah, the Keldeo definitely can just rush in and retreat. So we're going to hang on to the Hypnotoxic Laser, and we're going to play this right here. Ooh, we get another Weedle. That's really good. Let's go ahead. We'll even play this. We get the Beedrill, and the next turn we can evolve, and we also get the Professor's Letter. So let's go ahead. We'll just go for the Twin Needle here. We even get a Lysander, and hopefully the next turn we can actually Lysander out the Keldeo. And if we can get 2 heads, that would be fantastic. But anyways, we see my opponent here rushing in, and what we're going to do is we're going to be able to, if we get knocked out, we're going to play the teammates, and yeah, probably just go for teammates. And I think what we're going to do is get a Kakuna and maybe a VS Seeker or another Lysander, because we definitely need 2 Lysanders to potentially try to Lysander out the Keldeo. If we miss the first time, we hit only 1, then we want to hit it again. So all right, so here we go. We have this option for us. Let's go ahead. We will play the Rare Candy here. My My opponent did not take a prize there, so we can definitely play the teammates. Let's go ahead. We'll get the 2 more energies. We've got 1 left in the deck. We can definitely play this here. If we can Lysander out the Keldeo, we would win the game. So what I want to do is, we just want to Lysander out the Keldeo. And what I really want to do is get the Victini. So if we can actually flip again, and we can actually knock out the Keldeo. All right, so here we go. Twin Needle. Oh my goodness, no. Oh, we just knocked out the Keldeo. Oh, hit him for 200 damage. That was just glorious. That was awesome. Okay. All right. Well, we had a ton of fun. We couldn't exactly use the Allergic Shock, but we did Allergic Shock in Mewtwo, and we were able to. Wow, that was fun. Beedrill getting a knockout on that annoying pesky Keldeo, rushing in, retreating, and negating our poison effect for the retreat. Man, that was fun. So being able to pull off a win, that was exciting. I definitely enjoyed this matchup. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on this deck is, and if you guys have any other deck ideas, please shoot them my way, and I'll see to it if I can build it. I'll have some more Pokemon TCG online videos very soon. You guys have a good day. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.